Alright, what's going on, you guys? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Crypto Convo, series I make whenever I feel it's necessary, where we cover some exciting news and price action in the land of cryptocurrency, as well as some crypto related stocks. So you guys know the deal. We'll take a look at a few charts, we'll cover some sick articles, and yeah, as always, before we get into it, we will cover each topic that we're going to be discussing, then we'll dive in. So in front of us, per usual, the Bitcoin chart. We will take a look at, the Kings, Bitcoin, Ether. We'll take a look at Chainlink as well. So we're going to take a look at charts. As always, we have to kick it off with a Bitcoin analysis. So I'll let you guys know what I'm thinking about Bitcoin right now. We will then move into some articles. Probably one of the most bullish articles, one of the most optimistic, I'll say that right off the bat, articles that I've seen in a while. So Bitcoin will hit 340K if BTC price repeats 2016 halving. There is a good word in the first line here, in like the opener, hopium. So this is, again, a very optimistic article, but again, it's cool just to cover stuff like this, know what the possibility is, and again, this is based on historical price action, so anything that has happened in the past, it holds some weight. Again, there are definitely differences in today than there were in the past, especially for Bitcoin, which we will cover, but again, this is very optimistic, but it's always fun to cover. Okay, so we'll take a look at that. We will quickly take a look at the Bitcoin stock to flow chart. So this is something, if you're involved with Bitcoin, I'm sure you've seen at some point along your journey, but this is a very popular chart amongst Bitcoiners, amongst people who just understand the landscape. So we'll take a look at this. This pretty directly correlates with this article, so I'll explain why that is. We will then look to some big news for your boy personally. This is huge. So many of you know, if you're new, I'm sorry, but I do live in Hawaii, and this is huge news. So River Financial, this is a sick crypto exchange. I'm kind of trying to talk to them right now to see if we can work something out in terms of collaboration, because this is great. Like this, I owe these guys a lot for doing this. This is huge. They're the first in the industry to allow crypto buying and trading in Hawaii. So for those of you who don't know, I was introduced into crypto back in early 2017. I did trade. I did find a lot of success in the space during 2017. That was one of my first big forays into trading in my trading career personally. So crypto, that's why I make this. That's why I love making these crypto combo videos, because I do love this space. It is my first love in trading, and I'm still passionate about the space fundamentally, as many of you know. So excited to cover this. I owe a lot to River. The website's sick too. Maybe we'll take a look at it in a future video, but I mean, this is super good news. Again, for me personally, for the few of you I have to imagine who are in Hawaii as well, huge news. So you can now buy Bitcoin, Ether, whatever in Hawaii. We will then move on to Riot. So we have to talk Riot, Mara. We'll talk Overstock a little bit as well. We're not actually going to touch on this article. There is one nice key point in this article that I want to cover, because we already did touch on this. I'll read the title for those of you who didn't hear it already. It's pretty straightforward, but huge news for Riot, and we'll of course take a look at Riot in the charts as well. So before we do get into the charts and all this good stuff, I will, as always, ask you guys to please give the video a like if you do go on to gain value from it, or if you're invested in any of the cryptos or stocks that we're talking about today. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and of course check out my complete portfolio and daily newsletter. First link in the description. If you want to know my exact positions, all calls, all puts, just every position literally that I have in regard to any of the stocks and all the stocks that we ever talk about on the channel. All right, so I appreciate it. If not, no worries at all. But that said, let's get into the charts. Okay, so Bitcoin over the past couple days did drop a little bit. There was a scary little spike down there, but fortunately we did almost immediately recover it. Okay, so Bitcoin right now is showing a lot of strength, which is very, very bullish. And again, even on those dips, I have a lot of people contacting me. Same goes for stocks. When you see down days, you guys, I'm so fundamentally bullish from the medium to long term perspective on Bitcoin and all the stocks associated with Bitcoin right now. I still think it's so early in what is going to be this next bull rally, this next bull market, that the day-to-day price action doesn't faze me at all. Again, so I like you heard. So I was around in 2017. You know what? Let's zoom out a little bit to give you guys some perspective, if you're not familiar, of what 2017 looked like. If this freaking thing will load. Wow, it's actually not loading. Okay, so sorry about that. Let's just while this loads, I was just gonna talk story, kill some time, but let's make it productive and look at this article. Okay, so Bitcoin will hit 340K if BTC price repeats 2016 halving cycle pattern. Okay, so once again, the Bitcoin halving, this did just occur last May. That is where Bitcoin miners, the amount that Bitcoin miners are rewarded per block that they validate, is cut in half. Okay, so that makes Bitcoin, to sum it up, more scarce, even more scarce than it already is of an asset. All right. A look in at the difference between halving cycle highs, lows, and halving prices delivers huge BTC price targets with their creator cautions as hopium. Okay, so again, this is very optimistic. Keep that in mind, you guys. Even the guy who wrote this understands that, but it's always just to have different perspectives, bullish, bearish, each side, far ends of both sides, both ends of the spectrum, you want to know them. Okay, so in a Twitter series on August 20th, Popular Statistics Resource Charts BTC noted that Bitcoin still has huge room for growth at current levels of 11.7K, now 11.8K. Comparing lows and highs and halving prices from its two previous halving cycles, Charts BTC put the difference between peaks at 36x for the 2012 cycle and 17x for the 2016 cycle. Okay, so this is what you have to remember, guys. This is what I always talk about on the channel, asymmetric risk. What can provide you the most potential return for the least amount of risk? And obviously, there's always going to be risk. No matter what position you may take on, there's always going to be some sense of risk. But these are the returns that I have in mind. Over the long term, of course, this isn't going to happen overnight. But, I mean, you're talking 36x. You're talking, because again, I was involved with the 2017 cycle. So I know what it's like to, like 50x your position in some. And again, it's very fortunate, even with Overstock. Like that just happened with Overstock recently, which we will cover later in the video. But that's the returns I'm looking for. Again, even small stakes in if you're 10xing, 50xing, even 100xing, if you really play your cards right, your money. I mean, that's how you make generational wealth right there. Okay, so in order to repeat even more modest cycle success, BTC would have to trade at 340K. 36x from last cycle's high. Bitcoin's all-time record of 20K comes at 720K. Okay, so 720K is extremely bullish. But again, once we look at the stock to flow as well, that's over the coming years, that might not seem so crazy. Okay. So, comparing cycle lows, the results are even more dramatic. The smallest jump of 130x from the previous cycle would deliver a Bitcoin price of 400K. Okay, and again, with the current macroeconomic environment, you guys know I always talk about this money printing. The economy's in a crazy place right now. We might have UBI coming soon. The value of fiat currencies is inevitably going to be devalued to some extent. Okay, how far that extent is, I don't know. No one knows at this point. But I mean, you want a sound money. That's the number one argument for Bitcoin. It's a scarce, sound money digital asset. It's gold 2.0. It's digital gold. Okay, so we'll take a look at this chart. I'll read this to you guys right here because, again, the account noted that while the math adds up, there's little evidence which demands that such levels really do appear within the given time frame. While this may sound exciting, it's just hopium. The prior highs and lows won't dictate the future. So, again, another cliche, history doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme. So it's always good to use historical data, especially with Bitcoin. I mean, the beauty of Bitcoin is it's only 10 years old, and we have all the data on, like, in a chart right here. So this is from Bitcoin's genesis, from the first halvings, from Bitcoin just being 10 cents. You have the data, which is beautiful. And again, you guys have to remember, Bitcoin was for a long time less than $1. Okay, so it was less than $1 for a while, and it's now just floating casually around $10,000. And that's so bullish. Bitcoin's only 10 years old, and it's already floating around $10,000 from $1. Like that's insane, and that speaks to the strength of Bitcoin as an asset and as a growing asset class. Okay, let's go ahead. This chart right here, not going to dive too deep into it. You guys can go check out this article if you want, or just pause the screen right here if you want to take a quicker look real fast. But again, this just shows Bitcoin over the past 10 years, all halving. So each of these lines is a halving. It happens every 4 years. All right, and after these halvings, you see, I mean, right here you can see after this first halving in 2012, we saw a crazy price spike from $12 and then to the end of that cycle to $1,100. So I mean, that's a solid gain right there. That's a cool 100x almost. Okay, and then you just, I mean, I'm not going to explain this too much. You guys can see what's going on here, but you guys can see what happens after the halvings. So after this halving, you see almost parabolic price action. After this halving, you see a nice steady climb up, which led to the 2017 rally. And I mean, after this, if you're just looking at it historically, and again, a very important thing to remember is that as Bitcoin grows, as the value of an individual Bitcoin grows, so does the market cap. You guys know how I talk about market caps a lot around here. The bigger the market cap becomes, the more capital inflow it takes to that asset to boost the individual share price, in this case, each individual Bitcoin. So obviously, Bitcoin was not a $200+ billion asset when it was back at 10 cents, okay? It was much smaller. So the bigger the market cap gets, the more capital inflow it takes to boost the individual Bitcoin, which makes it so something like this happening isn't quite as likely. But again, there's so much adoption coming, which I mean we'll touch on in like these two right here. There's just so much adoption, so much, just the macroeconomic backdrop is aligning all the stars right now in my eyes for Bitcoin. Okay, so once again, let's move over here real quick, and I'll give you guys a very zoomed out TA. So once again, I got into Bitcoin, I think it was at like $300 or $400. Where was it in early 2017? Maybe not. Am I getting that confused? I might sound super stupid right here. So no, oh, wow. So I got in around, it was probably like, I confuse it with like Ether sometimes, but okay. So I got in probably around like $600-700. It was like around, it was very early. Oh no, I'm even right there, I'm wrong. So it was like $900. Okay, I made a significant gain on my money. I will say that I definitely didn't catch the top in this 2017 bull run, but yeah, man, I wish I didn't sound stupid right there. Okay, but anyway, I got in somewhere in the mid-hundreds, the mid-$100 region. Again, still early compared to where it went, considering it went to $20,000 over the course of pretty much like a year. Again, this was a this big parabolic move up right here from like 2,500 to 20,000 happened very quickly. So in September of 2017, Bitcoin was at like $2,500, and then by the beginning of December, it went up to $20,000. So you can see, guys, just how fast things can happen and why I'm so bullish, and kind of there's a sense of urgency in my voice sometimes when I talk about Bitcoin, considering that you can see how fast it happens. It's factually happened in the past. You can see exactly what happened and how fast it happened. And that's when there was so much less exposure around Bitcoin right now. Okay. So again, we just had the second halving. The governments are printing trillions of dollars, and we're still significantly below all-time highs. All right. And we're still at a very small market cap. You guys, gold, which I think Bitcoin will steal a large majority of the market share from, is a $9 trillion market. Okay. Bitcoin is not even a $300 billion asset. Okay, so it's minuscule in the grand scheme of the financial markets. Okay, so that's very important to keep in mind. To sum this up real quick, we'll close it off with Bitcoin right now. Once again, you guys, like right here, I've been saying this and I'll keep saying it again. I do think that mid to late September, we will see this uptrend once again tested. You guys know the deal with uptrends. The further you extend both of these lines out, the higher the price target gets. Okay, so if we hit it in October, we could hit a $20,000 Bitcoin again. But you guys, there's so much bullish momentum behind Bitcoin right now. I do think that we will once again retest this uptrend and this line of resistance at some point in time. So when that is, again, I don't know, but I think it will happen at some point within the next month or two. Always know, you guys, my money's on it. Also, this is not financial advice. I'm not guaranteeing anything, you guys know that, but again, I just have my gut is telling me this, and my money is on it, so know that. All right, let's move on to Ether. We'll take a quick look at Ether and Link, and then we'll move on to this great news in regard to crypto in Hawaii and then Riot and stuff. Okay, so Ether looking great. I mean, Ether is just looking super strong. We will go down to the daily just to get a little more short term of a time frame. Why is this? Oh man, you guys, TradingView is acting up a little bit right now. It's probably my computer. I'm not going to blame TradingView. But you can see here, I hope that Ether doesn't play out. I mean, this just looks like a higher low to me, which is a very good sign. And I mean, this looks bullish. You can see it is perfectly testing off of, what is that, the 21 EMA. So, I mean, again, you guys, I don't bring these up a lot, but that's the reason I have them on here, is because they do come in handy. So the 20 EMA pretty much, I mean, always used as a pretty solid line of support. So you can see it just about bounced off that 20 EMA when it saw that correction over the past couple of days. And right now we are, I mean, just continuing an uptrend. You see, this is, I mean, higher high, higher low, and then I assume this is just going to continue. And again, ETH, the silver to Bitcoin's gold. I know there's a lot of technical arguments. I think Bitcoin is digital gold. Bitcoin serves as more of a currency. Ether is like the technology that so many new applications and financial apps and whatnot are going to be built upon. Okay, so I will cover Ether, like the back end of it, because Ether was actually my bigger profit puppy in 2017 as opposed to Bitcoin. But again, super involved in Ether as well. I have a large Ether position too, so excited about that. Again, I'm just bullish on that. We'll go to the 5-year on Ether and just take a look at, like, it's always good to go back and just know what these guys can do when they start to go parabolic. So for those of you who weren't around again, and I mean, this is like, just look what it can do. So so I got into Ether at $60. I remember that very specifically. Okay, so I did get into Ether at $60 in like March of 2017. Wow, it doesn't even. it might not just be loading, but does this not even date back to March? Okay, so I remember specifically after I heard, I think, Andreas Antonopoulos on Joe Rogan's podcast, talking about Ethereum, Bitcoin, and whatnot. I got in March 2017. Obviously, Ether, I specifically remember, is $60. I bought like 10 of them for $600. At the time, it was a pretty solid investment for me, but I mean that. Obviously, I didn't catch the top. I did not sell it at $1,400. I felt super rich for a while. I ended up selling a lot of it around like this, kind of like some at the $900 region. I remember selling the majority at like the $700 region-ish area around here. So still made solid money. Still, I mean, 10x my return. But I mean, you guys, another thing too is you're never going to catch the top. That's the thing. Like, don't beat yourself up for not catching the top. As long as you come out green and significantly green at that, be happy. Obviously, you aspire. Everyone tries to catch the top, but it's just super hard. So that's why I always preach taking profits, almost like taking a little bit of profits, just taking a little bit off of your position each significant step up. Okay, so Ether, again, 1,400 high. I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen once again. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see Ether far surpass these previous highs. I'm seeing a lot of like $4,000 Ether targets. So I mean, I will wait for the complete bull rally to initiate before giving more TA on Ether, but it's looking good in the short term. It's obviously fundamentally looking good in the medium and long term. So bullish on Ether. I continue to buy Bitcoin and Ether just a little bit all the time. That's what I dollar cost average. Okay, so I'm constantly adding to my positions. So you can see Chainlink here is seeing a significant correction after this absolutely insane rally up. Again, it's not surprising at all to me to see Chainlink correcting. You can see here it almost perfectly bounced off of this previous high that it set back in. I mean, this seems like, I mean, this time is going so fast right now. Okay, this seems like forever ago, but I mean, just on August 9th, so just a week and a half or so ago, I mean, it's bouncing. It did correct 3 times, 3 days in a row. Wow, off of that high. So that's interesting to see. That's kind of a rare pattern to see right here. It's very rare you see daily candles go that low but not close like that. So it looks like it looks like Chainlink is kind of bull flagging out. So bull flag, you know, we love those on the channel. Bull flag, go up. You see this descending triangle right here, and usually that's very bullish. Okay, so you see that parabolic price action, descending triangle, capitulation, and then you'll probably see another wave up. And again, Chainlink Oracle solution, very exciting video. Did I mention that Chainlink is the first video I made in regard to investing? Go check that out if you guys want to sound me and make my first investing video and sound like a fool. All right, so check that out. Please don't actually, but again, Chainlink will always be fundamentally bullish on Chainlink. Still hold a fat bag of Chainlink, and I mean, I still see big things even after this price rally. It's hard to be bullish on something that's run up so much. I mean, for me at least, I should say, obviously there's a lot of FOMO and hype around, like that's what leads to bubbles, and that's what unfortunately sometimes the cryptocurrency sector becomes, because it's such an exciting space. But again, as someone who's played these before, I know this is just part of the cycle. This is just part of the cycle. You have to embrace volatility. All right, so that's that. Let's move on to this, which is very exciting news once again for me. So River Financial joins Hawaii's Digital Currency Innovation Lab. They do have river.com, so go check out river.com if you want to check these guys out. It's a sick domain. I wonder how much they have to pay for that. But I just listened to a podcast on Tales from the Crypt, so check out that podcast if you guys are interested in Bitcoin and not already familiar. But they just talked to the 2 founders of this company. Very cool guys, very cool, insightful conversation. So go check that out. But I'll just read this and just kind of be stoked about Bitcoin now being available in Hawaii after so many years. Okay, so today, Bitcoin-based financial institution River Financial announced that it will participate in Hawaii's Digital Currency Innovation Lab, a regulatory sandbox program developed by the state's Division of Financial Institutions and the Hawaii Technology Development Corporation. This will make River one of the first companies in the space to legally serve residents of Hawaii. Okay, so again, you guys, in 2017, I remember using Coinbase in 2017, and like I don't want to get in trouble here, but I did some sketchy practices using some exchanges to get crypto, even when it was still technically legal, but it was just kind of like frowned upon, and like it was very gray. And then over the course of the years, KYC, know your customer, like the government really cracked down on the regulatory frameworks that a lot of these exchanges have to abide by, and it's impossible. I tried over the course of the years. It's so hard to actually like link a bank account and properly buy Bitcoin, Ether, whatever you want. Almost impossible. Okay, so now that we have a legal, legitimate solution in River Financial, which is a great product, it's a sick website. Like their UI and their design is amazing. So I highly recommend checking them out. Again, I'm looking forward to hopefully collaborating with these guys. I did reach out, so we'll see if they can be the first collaboration. No, I also want to let you guys know, like, I've gotten a lot of sponsorship offers at this point, and I'm just not interested. But I am reaching out to people, like products I genuinely love and like actually engage in, to see if they want to do something. So know that I'm never going to take on any shaky, even like if it's a decent bag. Like I'm G. But companies like this that are doing cool things, especially like the hometown heroes, like would love to work with these guys. Okay, so anyway, that's great news for me. Let's move on to Riot, and then we will take a look at the charts. So Riot, once again, supercharges mining ops with 8,000 more Bitmain rigs as Bitcoin price soars. So to sum this up, Riot did order 8,000 miners from Bitmain. They got a discounted price, which is rare considering the price of Bitcoin is going up. Usually that increases the prices of miners, but that's such a large order that they're working with Bitmain, and beginning January of 2021, so next year, they're going to start receiving those miners up until I believe April or May. Okay, so it's not coming overnight. You physically can't do that. Bitmain can't just pop out 8,000 rigs, but this is just they're investing in their future. They're investing in their operations and expanding their operations, and that's what you want to see in a good company. And for those of you who may be worried, I haven't really addressed Riot's financials before, but I just want to read this. So with our current miner development deployment schedule, we anticipate that based upon current factors, Riot would achieve positive cash flow in late 2020. So again, Riot as of right now is not positive in cash flow. But that's understandable in such an innovational company like Riot, like Mara. When you're dealing with almost revolutionary industries like Bitcoin mining, you can't expect these very young companies to be profitable yet. They're still investing in their operations. Okay, so miners aren't cheap. They got to put cash towards miners, and again, that shows their confidence in the long term and their confidence in where they're going in the future. Okay, so they're buying these miners. That's very good. And even like without this new deployment, if they believe they can reach positive cash flow and become profitable in late 2020, that's not even including these 8,000 miners. That's amazing. Okay, so that said, let's move on to these charts. Riot and Mara both having a pretty good day today. Overstock did end the day in the green. So Riot, man, look at those lines. Look at those lines, you guys. Or those arrows, I should say. Okay, so this looks, I mean, we'll see if this plays out. The arrows are looking good so far. So, I mean, I do expect Riot, once again, I've said this every time, this will kind of play out very bullish case scenario is it comes up and retests this very like steep uptrend line that it started back in late July and comes up to like the $7 region, which honestly I wouldn't be too surprised to see that happen considering Riot did in 2017. Riot was at $45, so I'm not going to go back in time for this one, but maybe I will. We'll see. But Riot was at $45 when Bitcoin was at 20K, Ether was 1,400. Riot was at $45, so it's currently at $6. Just think about that, you guys. All right. So again, I do think at the very least, Riot will once again retest this uptrend that started back in May. Very solid uptrend here. It has diverted from that path a little bit, but I do think it will once again, on the conservative end, mid-September, similar to Bitcoin. This would make sense to me though. Retest this pretty conservative uptrend, this line of resistance at about $6.50. Very bullish argument for Riot is we see it at the end of the month hit like $7 region if it wants to retest that. This is I would personally expect this one to happen a lot more. I would like to see this one more happen to be honest, because it's more organic and it's more realistic and probably makes for less volatility. Although I am waiting for that day where it goes parabolic, and I do think we'll see that where it just goes to the moon again. I think this is nice and conservative. I think this is fair, and my money's on it. Okay, so again, by mid-September, I'm expecting a $6.5, $7 Riot. Super excited about that. Really, nothing's changed, you guys. I don't really care about the day-to-day. You guys know that, but I mean, medium to long term, still super bullish. So Mara, here, let's go to the hourly because Mara looks just too wild on a daily time frame. So oh man, I hate when I have to do this. Okay, so Mara is looking pretty weird. This is a weird looking chart to me. So technically right now I should have deleted all this, whatever. Mara is definitely in a downtrend. This is the opposite of what my Riot arrows look like. So Riot arrows were looking super good. This completely disvalidates. You guys know that's not the right word, but you know what I mean. So this completely disvalidates what I was just feeling all confident about my arrows on Riot. But anyway, you can kind of see here we are creating which looks pretty bearish, sadly. We are creating kind of a descending triangle. So, I mean, yeah, that's pretty bearish, I guess, but you could almost say it's a bull flag, a super elongated bull flag, because you saw this parabolic move up right here. And then, you see this parabolic move up, and then which it's now creating a descending triangle. So we'll hopefully this plays out as a bull flag, and once it gets to the end of that descending triangle, I do think we could see it break to the upside again, just considering this is very dependent on Bitcoin's price action, on Bitcoin's performance. You guys know that, because this is a Bitcoin mining company. So if Bitcoin continues to do well, I do think Mara could potentially use this as a very shaky, almost not even by no means a technically sound, a technically patterned bull flag. But you guys, I've seen a lot of bull flags in this market, and I've seen some that look kind of like this and have played out to the upside. But again, bearish case, it's a descending triangle. We come back down to retest this area where it was at before it gapped up at about $2.15. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think this will break to the upside, and probably retest the $5 region. And again, you guys, I do think that will once again retest similar to Riot. I think these will. I am bullish. I'm significantly more bullish on Riot than Mara, and my positions do show that. But I do think that over time these will probably become pretty correlated. So these will move it in tandem. You can see Riot outperform Mara today. There's some days Mara outperforms Riot, but for the most part, I think these are going to move pretty in unison. And I wouldn't be surprised to see these hit certain milestones, considering they're very similar size market caps, similar price per share. I wouldn't be surprised if these become pretty correlated to each other. Okay, so keep an eye out for that. Again, I'm just long-term bullish on Mara. Even if it does break down, I'll just pick up more of these levels, because I know it's going to pop back up once Bitcoin starts to significantly pop. So still bullish on Mara. We'll move down to Overstock real quick, and then we'll call it. All right, so Overstock has been seeing some, to my knowledge, I don't know why this is taking so long to load. Sorry about that, guys. But Overstock has been seeing a little bit of a pullback. So it did, just yesterday. It's pulled back a little bit since its high yesterday, but at 128, it's at 122 now. Overstock is just such a beast that I can't believe that it won't once again, maybe for the last time. It is going a little flat, and you know what? Honestly, it could maybe, that's a higher low though. So, I think Overstock's probably just going to continue this rally. Overstock's still a pretty small company right now at $5 billion. So it's way bigger. I remember when Overstock was like a $300 million company not too long ago, to be honest, just because we've seen such growth in Overstock. But, it would just make sense to me to see it once again retest this upper line of resistance. Again, as Bitcoin grows, as people realize that T0, which is a subsidiary of Overstock and also a crypto exchange through their Medici Ventures arm, that's obviously going to grow with the expansion of crypto and the adoption of crypto. And Overstock's probably going to do super well and kill it. All right. So that's Overstock. You guys, Hive is doing pretty well. Not going to touch on these too much unless they start breaking out. Let me know if you guys want me to cover Hive. Kate and Silvergate, MicroStrategy, which is the company that just bought a bunch of Bitcoin, super bullish on that stock as well. You can see they're up almost 2% today. So they're going a little slower. They're probably going to be pretty closely correlated with Bitcoin, so keep an eye out on that, guys. Again, you guys, gold, silver, super bullish on them as well, just as that inflation hedge. So I will cover a great article that I just stumbled upon, give you guys a little tease right here, that's just below this article, that's talking about, I already have it all highlighted, but I will talk about this in the Waves Weekly. It's comparing Bitcoin to national fiat currencies and why Bitcoin is being used as an inflation hedge right now. Okay, so stay tuned for that. Again, you guys, let me know, please, if there's anything that you guys want me to talk about, anything else going on within this sector or within the stock sector that you guys are excited about, that you guys wish I talked about, and maybe we'll talk about in the Waves Weekly. So let me know down below. Always love learning from you guys. Always love talking shop with you guys. And once again, if you guys want to know my exact positions across these sectors, across all sectors, complete portfolio, daily newsletter, first link in the description, along with the daily update in the actual portfolio. I do send out a newsletter every trading day during market hours, talking about the trades I made that day, rationalizing my thoughts, giving you guys my just general opinion on the markets overall. Okay, so it's more real-time updates from me. If you're interested, if not, no worries at all once again. So again, look forward to talking to you guys downstairs, and until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.